Welcome back to BalaCore Fitness Show here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm Ellen Como. I'm here with
Danny Lou and
we have a very special guest in the studio with us today, Sally Van Swearingen, and she wrote a book. It's not over yet. It's Reclaiming Your Real Beauty Power.
Right.
And gosh, beauty is power. Well, you know, beauty can be very powerful, and then beauty can be a curse. Mm-hmm. So that's so great that you wrote this book. And before we went to break, you were talking about the 3 types of women.
Yes.
The one that just like own the beauty that we have, and you know, whatever that is, right? And it's, you know, I used to have people ask me, gosh, how do I look great? You know, well, how do I look good in a bathing suit? I want you to get me into bathing suit shape, Ellen. And I would say, you know, I just want to look great in a bathing suit. I said, you want to look great in a bathing suit? Yeah. I said, okay. Put your bathing suit on, walk proud and tall, and keep a smile on your face, and you will look hot.
you own it, baby.
Yeah, it's how you own it. And, you know, we don't think of that, but it's the truth. Mm-hmm. You know, right then and there, we think people are looking at us when we're walking by them, and they're sizing every part of us up. But, you know, our eyes only see certain things. Our eyes can't see taking a whole picture at once. And I got to tell you, a smile is going to attract people over anything else any day of the week. So if you keep a smile on your face, they're not going to be looking at your arms or legs. They're not going to look anywhere but at the smile.
That's what Audrey Hepburn said. Our smile is our #1 beauty accessory.
I
Very
agree. And it truly is. And when we walk around kind of shoulders hunched over, not believing in who we are, it shows. And that may be when people might, you know, look at us and not see the beauty inside of us. And we all live with it. And men and women all have an inner beauty that wants to shine, it wants to come, it wants to glow. It's us that keep that light dimmed.
Exactly. I think that's why we were going to talk a little bit more about the 3 women, I call them in my book, typecast. So I typecast women 40 and beyond. And I'm in there too, so of course. So women, they get to a certain age, and they go in one of 3 directions, in my opinion. As a makeup artist, hairstylist, and a woman over 40 myself, I have seen this happen. So the first woman, as we start to age, some of us could tend to be the Daisy Dukes and Ugg boots lady. And that one is the one, if you visualize that, she's older, she still looks good, but she's trying to compete with that 25-year-old person she used to be, or the 25-year-old woman. She's not that anymore, but she's pushing the envelope. And some of us, like you, Ellen, obviously you could do it because you have the body for it. But sometimes we need to get to a point where we say, I've lived that time. Let me be a role model to other women, and let me look really great at the age and the body I have for now. So there's the other woman on the other side, the sweatpants and baseball cap lady. We all know
Yep.
those ladies, right?
Yep.
So they've pretty much given up, and they cover up, and they just say, well, I'll just put the attention on my daughter because it's done for me. Mm-hmm. I really disagree with those women because they're giving it up way too soon. And I know that Ellen would agree, you're giving it up too soon. The women in your gym have said, I'm not giving it up. I still want to look good. I still want to be strong. So that leads us to I love my beauty power woman. And that's the woman who is a little bit older. She's in her 40s. She's even in her 50s or 60s. But she knows that I could still look good, and I'm not going to give it up too soon. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk a little bit about today.
Yeah, embracing. First of all, though, I would never wear Daisy Dukes, just for the record, at this age.
But she has worn Uggs, just to let you guys know.
I'm always freezing, so you will see me in Uggs and sweatpants.
Okay,
wait, I'm the Uggs and sweatpants
girl. Not at the
girl.
same time as the Daisy Dukes.
Never, yeah, no, and I wouldn't wear Daisy Dukes. Those are a dress would be more my style, I think. You know, at this point in my life. But back then, yes, I did have my Daisy. Didn't we all have our Daisy Dukes? They were just so hot.
So
Not me.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he does have them. He does. He just doesn't want anyone to know.
Okay, that's a scary thought. I'm sorry. So I wanted to ask, what do you think of the Daisy Dukes and Ugg boots lady? What do you have to say to that woman?
Gosh, what I have to say is that what they're not doing is appreciating where they are in life. They're missing out on so much. You don't ever want to go back and reclaim anything. What you do is want to move on from here. Mm-hmm. And we have so much power at our age. And we can make such a difference in the world in so many different ways. And to see a woman be able to carry themselves into their years as they get stronger and they get smarter and more intelligent about the world, and their instincts grow larger. There's nothing more beautiful about that. There's a story about that I had. I was in New Orleans, and I was in the French Quarter, and I was shopping around, and I was by myself. I was there overnight on business, and I decided to kind of go explore the city. And I was in a bookstore, and I saw this woman in her 70s, and she was beautiful. And I was just smiling at her because she was just so beautiful. And so she was smiling back at me. And then she's getting ready to leave the store, and she walked up to me and said, I just want you to know you have the most beautiful smile. And I said, well, my smile was because I was looking at how beautiful you are. And then she went off and, just kind of went off on her day. And then I was talking to the shopkeeper and telling the shopkeeper that I really wanted a tour of the city. But I didn't want I didn't want a touristy tour. I wanted to really know the architecture. I really wanted to know the history. I really wanted to know some of the folklore of the city, but I didn't want one of those package tours. And she said, well, my friend that just walked out the door, that's what she does. So I ended up calling her, having her number, calling her up, and I was sitting at Cafe Du Monde having my beignet and waiting. She called me back, and she ended up giving me like a 2.5 tour of the city. And that it was such how funny that we just, and that just goes to tell you that beauty at any age radiates.
Yes.
She's 70 years old. She was stunning. Mm-hmm. I didn't look at her and say, oh gosh, look at that old lady. I looked at her and just said, wow, when I'm 70, if I could be half that beautiful, so I think it's embracing who we are, and let's be an example for that 25-year-old. Let's not try to be that 25-year-old. Let's let it be the example that she can look at and say, when I'm her age, I'd really like to have what she has, the poise. I'd like to have the experience. I'd like to have what she has.
Walking with pride and making eye contact with people when you walk into a room. That should happen at any age. I think that's really important. I think that's how you connect with people, smiling and making eye contact.
We're going to be right back. We're talking so much. These segments seem like they're going way too quick today, but we're going to be right back. This is Ellen Como, Danny, Lou, and Sally on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome back to the BalaCore Fitness Show here on your hometown station. Thank you for listening today. I'm here with Danny Lou, and I'm here with Sally Van Swearingen. I hope I'm saying it right every time, am I?
You're doing great.
Okay, got that name. Some of these names, you wonder, mine's Ellen Como. How can you mess that up? That's a hard one to mess up. But Sally Van Swearingen, and she is the author of It's Not Over Yet, Reclaiming Your Real Beauty Power in Your 40s, 50s, and Beyond. I love that title. And we were talking about the Daisy Duke and the Ugg boots. And Danny had a little something to say about this. I feel bad because we were two women, and then we've got Danny, who's usually the talker.
Well, what I really wanted to say was this is amazing because you can hear all the side action once you guys go off air, all the girl stuff that goes on, and I'm here lost, and I'm trying to talk to the director of our show to have guy talk. But it's amazing what women talk about here. And what they're talking about was the Daisy Dukes, we'll get off it real quick, is that I'm a 51-year-old guy, try to keep in shape. Now, when the girls are 20 or 30, they may look cute. Not that I'm looking at that, so we have to get this straight, like what it is, but just being straight up is that, they can look cute in their Daisy Dukes and their Ugg boots. But when you get to that certain age, if I'm involved with somebody and it's hard for a guy to tell even his longtime partner that maybe it's time to grow up. And that's like the blunt part, but how do we go about doing that? Like, it'd be nice if we could dress up and we could go out together tonight in a dress and I'll put on like a little thing and then you compliment her that like, oh my gosh, you were hot in that. I'm just telling you, I'm more turned on by you, or I love you more. Not love you more, but just I appreciate your beauty in this look.
Yes.
And I am so amazed with your beauty at your age of 45 can look this good in high heels and a dress versus those Uggs and Daisy Dukes. So that's a way to do it. Guys, I know it's hard. Believe me, to try to just convince and have a conversation with women, but if we can try to do it in a loving way, sometimes that's even hard.
And that's so important because we have in our heads, and even me here as a confident woman at my age, we have in our heads, does he think I'm okay? It's true. I mean, I'm lucky to have a boyfriend that constantly tells me that, but a lot of women are not blessed with that. Sometimes men don't know how to express themselves. They think it, but they just don't know how to say it enough. Mm-hmm. So we're thinking, what do I do? They want to turn him on the most. And am I doing it? Am I doing a good job? And for you being able to say that to her is such a wonderful thing. And for you to encourage men to do that is also great, because it takes some of the pressure off of the woman. I look good like this.
Yes.
And I think it's just the communication, which is the hardest part. Once you get into relationships and that, life just starts going by, and sometimes that communication, it just doesn't ebb and flow as much. So we can be conscious, especially guys we know and guys we get it, is both ways. Complimenting someone on their body, the way they treat you, the way they make you feel, we want that so bad from a guy to treat a girl good. It's deep embedded in our soul. The approval from a woman, from even mom's standpoint, is so deep, women, that if you can go home to your guy tonight and just compliment him on something that he's done and you appreciated him, you're going to see tears in his eyes. Because if it's been a long while between this communication, that's all he wants. He's working so hard on his body, on his work, with your kids, with football practice, with everything, and all he wants to do is impress you and get your love.
Okay, this is awesome, because we're getting into one of my chapters, sexuality and intimacy. So when people say, oh, it's a woman's book, well, I need to loan you the book for you to read that chapter. What you just said, we covered in the book for women to validate their men. Really important for women to validate them. So we'll talk about that.
Oh, great.
Yes,
Good.
definitely. Well, you said you had something that you wanted to do while you're here today, Sally.
Oh, yes, I have a little present for Ellen.
Oh,
Love
yay.
presents.
Okay, Ellen is gorgeous. She doesn't really need any more beauty, but we always like to have some extra stuff. So we talked about I love my beauty power. And one of the things that I show women, I have a cosmetic line. It's called Studio Essentials. And I show women how to move beyond the makeup that we used to wear when we were younger. Because as we change and as our bodies and our skin changes, we need to change what we put on our faces. So I encourage women to lose the foundation, because we get hold on our foundation and our powder.
We do.
And what happens, it actually makes us look older, and we don't realize that. So one of the first things I tell my clients about is a primer. A primer is a very light coverage, if you call it, a luminescent product. Instead of a foundation tends to cover, but a tinted primer reveals and luminizes the skin. So I'm gifting you with my tinted primer.
Okay, thank you.
So tomorrow, when we're in class, you can wear the primer, and
I'm
that's
going
all
to.
you can wear, and your skin will look just even more amazing than it already is.
Okay, good. I'm gonna wear this tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Hey, but
I love that, because I'm always looking for things like that, because I go get it's so true. And I never wore foundation like about 10 years ago. I never even thought about wearing it. And I just started wearing it recently, about maybe 5 years ago. And then been playing since then, trying to find like which one looks the most natural. And it's funny when you go into the department stores or Sephora, or you try to talk to somebody and tell them, listen, I don't want to be matte. I want to be my skin.
Want to glow.
Yeah. I want my skin. I just don't want to see all the variations of the different colors. I want to be more, I want to be shaded, but I don't want to see all the splotches and things like that. And they have such a hard time understanding that. And they get in there and start contouring and doing all this stuff. Well, I'm not going to do that every day.
I love that action, that contouring, because that's what they do.
that is very funny, because I was going to do the same comment.
Yeah, they do.
Alike.
They get right in there, and they're you know what I mean? They're just like,
Okay,
your body.
so I had a question for
Your face.
men, because I know when I've used to act way long ago, and I had makeup on, I look pretty good, actually. Hit all my flaws, and I look pretty dang good. Nowadays, at 51, I love myself the way I am, but I don't really use anything. I just put like vitamin C oil, a little bit on it, and then like just a sunscreen. So would this be good for men too?
Absolutely. So I'll have to try some on you.
Okay.
So I do grooming for men. I work with NBC Sports, and I work with the announcers for NBC Sports. And you cannot, learned a long time ago, I was told when I was coming up and learning in the business, a man could never look like you being an actor. You would know. You can't look like you're wearing makeup. The minute a man looks like he's wearing makeup, nobody's listening to him anymore. They're like, that guy's wearing makeup. So it's really important that everything's done very subtly. But yes, you absolutely can wear a little bit of tinted primer.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, that'll be great. I can walk all over Santa Clarita telling everybody you're wearing my makeup.
That's right. I'll have an Asian glow to me. Hurrah.
Yeah, and Danny's he likes taking very good care of himself. So
I tried.
He'll have the glow.
Well, that's with BalaCore. That's because last year and a half it's been very the health. Yes.
Yes.
Speaking of BalaCore, I wanted to talk about Ellen and BalaCore.
Oh, well,
and my
we're going to take a break
experience.
here, and we're going to talk a little bit more about your book, and then definitely we'll talk about BalaCore, one of my favorite things, fitness.
Okay.
I love
Well-
it. Okay, we'll be right back. This is Ellen Como on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.